Hey guys, just wanted to start up a new video series about everything that I do when I'm getting prepared for the next year. So I'm going to start with going to 30 BR from 6 BRA, which the process is exactly the same. It doesn't matter if I'm going whatever caliber, it doesn't really matter. But the first thing you got to do is start with virgin brass. And as many times as I've been told it doesn't matter, I'm here to tell you I think it matters. Is the first things you need to do when you've got your new brass. So here's a lot. I got 150 of lot 45 here. And I've got a different lot of the exact same kind of brass from Peterson, but this is lot 89. And even within the same lot, I always want to weigh all my brass before I get started. And these that I have here, these 45 lots, I've already weighed those in the past. These were just kind of, I don't know how many I had 1,000 pieces or something. And what I do, no matter how many I have, I weigh all of them all at the same time when they're all brand new. And that way I can weight sort them and get each box as close to the same amount of weight as possible. So even within the same lot, there's going to be a lot of different weights, a high and all the way to a low. And I don't want to be shooting the low weights with the high weights. It's like everything. I want everything to be as consistent as possible. And when you really start getting into this and you really want to start cutting those last little tiny bits off of your deal to try to get over the hump, every little thing matters. And it all comes down to weights of this and weights of that, a weight of your bullets and the weight of your brass and the weight of your primers and the weight of your powder. All of it matters. And don't let anybody tell you it doesn't, because it does. I've gone out and tested and tested and tested and proven for myself anyway that I believe it matters. So you guys can test for yourselves and decide whether it matters or not. But I just wanted to show you the difference between just all Peterson brass, all 6 BRA. But just throw one of these on from this lot. And what do we got? 129.52. So you go 129.52, and we grab one out of here. And what do we got? A brand new virgin piece of brass, hasn't been touched. 138.47. Now, do you think that matters? 129 to 138. I think it matters. And the reason I think it matters is because I've gone out and shot the heavy ones along with shooting the lightest ones and tested with the exact same load on there to see how much of a difference there was. And it just it always seems to matter. And so I think all the brass is fine as long as you group all the light ones with the light ones and the heavy ones with the heavy ones, and then test for those particular ones and get your powder test done with all consistent brass. So does it matter? Yeah, I think it does. I mean, you look at here in this simple lot. Now I just pulled one out of box number 3, and what was the number again? We're looking at 138. 138 what? 138.70. So that was just one piece out of this box. Now if we go to box number 1, I'm guessing these are the lighter ones. So this one is 138.54. So now if they're all 138, that's pretty darn close, you know. But me, I've got a good enough scale. I can get all the way down to the tenths down there. So 138.5 compared to 138.7. See, I want to group all of these in this box. I'll pull out the heaviest one out of this box, and it's 138.5 right there. So I try to keep everything everything consistent by weight as much as possible. I mean, you don't want to just throw random amounts of powder into each one without getting it exactly right. And the same holds true with your brass. And yeah, you get a big old box of brand new bullets, and are they exactly the same weight? Well, you might want to weigh them, find out, well, there's a little bit of a variance between each and every box of bullets, every box of brass, everything. So if you really want to get over the hump, the first thing you have to do is on day one, before you start turning necks and before you start doing anything, is simply weight sort everything. Weight sort everything. I mean, just starting here. So once I've got everything weight sorted and I'm happy with what I've got going. Now these, obviously, I didn't use. These ones I had enough already. So for me, if I was going to a big national match, I figured I needed about 400 pieces of brass. And so maybe over the years I've bought, 1,000 pieces of brass of 6BRA and weight sorted them all and turned the necks on the ones that I needed, and these ones were left over. So I'm gonna use these for my 30BR. I'm gonna start with these anyway. Whether or not Peterson's gonna work for 30BR or not, I don't know. I'm gonna get some Lapua next. I've found that in some calibers Peterson just kicks ass, and then I found in some calibers that Lapua just kicks ass. So it's just like, I don't know about this particular cartridge yet. So I've heard, just asking around, most of the guys are all shooting Lapua. And there's not too many guys out there that I know that really are consistently with the Peterson brass, but Peterson for me in 6BRA was right in the sweet spot. It just outperformed Lapua, but not in the larger calibers. The larger calibers, it's Lapua was kicking ass on the Peterson. So it's all about testing, I mean, I know there's brand loyalty and all that kind of thing out there, but when you want to win, I don't care what brand it is. I just want whatever works the best. And I've found through my testing that some cartridges just don't hold up as well. The Peterson, I haven't had as good a luck with it in the larger Magnum calibers and stuff like that. So I've gone to Lapua for that. But in 6BRA, these light little cases, man, this stuff's been great. And I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, that it's going to be fine in 30BR as well, but I haven't tried it yet. So that's the first step, is just weigh everything. I can't stress that enough. You want to take out all the extreme variables. I mean, I've had, I don't know how many guys tell me that I go way overboard, but if you talk to I've talked to Craig Matthew. He just did a really good interview I saw with oh gosh, I'm having a brain fart, but anyway, I can't remember off the top of my head, but Craig, like he said, just like I've done, is I do everything. Why leave something to chance? So everything gets weight sorted to start with, and that's just, oh yeah, I'm just came in my head, my old brain. But Brian Zolanoff, he has his own channel, and he did a great interview with Craig, and they talked about all this stuff too. And it's less like you got to do everything. You can't just, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. I've heard so many guys tell me, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, go test for yourself to find out if it does matter. Grab yourself a bunch of really light cases and go test them with the powder that you're using, and grab some of the really heavy ones and go test them and see if you see something different on your chronograph. And it always seems to correlate. The heavier ones have more alloy, so there's less room inside for your powder, which builds more pressure. It's as simple as physics. It's just like, if it's a heavier alloy, it's not on the outside, obviously, because you got your die squishing it down, and you got your chamber keeping it so big on the outside. So that extra room's got to go to the inside of the case. So if there's not as much room inside of the case and you're stuffing the same amount of powder in there, it's going to build more pressure and it's going to raise up your velocity for a heavier case. And I don't know how many times I've tried to tell people that, and they just shake their head and think I'm crazy and going overboard and all these kinds of things. But I guess if you're just shooting at a local match and you're just shooting for fun, yeah, okay, you probably don't need to worry about it. But if you're trying to get over the hump at the Nationals to try to drop that little bit of an ag down just a little bit more, you know, I've said it over and over and over again. It's when you're at Nationals, it's not one target. It's 12 targets, and it's the overall ag of all those 12 targets. So all these little things will drop down your ag for each and every target just a little bit. And so you start going to matches and you say, okay, my ag was this much, you know, after all of my targets. You know, everybody can look at one screamer target and say, look, see, it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, but look at all the targets, add up your ag, and do that consistently over the summer and start noticing if your overall ag is coming down. Yeah, it's always great to have that one screamer target, but I never won any Nationals by just one screamer target. Yeah, I had some really nice ones in there, and it helped my overall ag, but it's the biggest target. You know, if you're shooting 6BRA, I mean, if you've got a calm day out there and guys are shooting under an inch, you know, and maybe your worst target is at 2 inches, you know, and that's, you know, getting big on a calm day. Well, maybe 2 inches is really good if you're shooting out in a California windstorm. So it all is relative to where you're shooting, but really pay attention to what your overall ag is on certain ranges and certain wind conditions, and you start noticing, you start doing simple little things like weighing your brass, and it all adds up. And like I said, I weigh everything. I weigh my powder, I weigh my primers, I weigh my brass, I weigh my bullets, and everything gets sorted into different batches. Everything, every single thing I weigh, just like this, I put all the lightest ones in each box, and so these are all consistent weights. And then when I have a whole different lot that is a whole different weight altogether, I don't really tend to use it. That's why it's still sitting around here, because it's not consistent with anything. So if I use this, it'll probably be just for testing, you know. So that's kind of how I do it. And then, you know, after you've got them sorted and you've shot them, what are you gonna do? Bring them all home and dump them all in a tumbler and clean them all up, and then now they're all messed up again? You gotta re-weight sort them all again? No, don't do that. Once you've got them in their box, you keep each box separate. Every piece has its little spot. And it also helps, I'll just say it up front, it's like, just because you've got the best brass in the world, I don't care what brand it is, there's always one or two in every box that for whatever reason, they just don't shoot as well, you know. And so you find that out during testing as well. You know, you're shooting, you know, a group and you got 4 of them in a half an inch, and all of a sudden one's over there 3 inches. It's like, why? Was it the bullet or was it the case? So that's a lot of sorting that you have to do. So anytime I have one fly way out, I usually have a Sharpie with me. I put an X on it and I put it back in the box. I prep it just the same as the rest, but I watch that case again, and if that one flies out again, I'll know it's the case. If it stays right in there, well, then it was probably the bullet. So this is possible. And of course, everybody gets caught. You know, wind gust comes up right in the middle of your string and sends one off and opens up a group, and that stuff happens. That's part of the game. But you know, consistent. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, if I have that one group and I lost one shot out, we'll look at the rest and see, okay, the rest was still in there at 2 inches. So it all kind of, you keep measuring and keep consistently trying to bring that ag down. Because that's what wins, is ag. You know, you have to ag good over 12 targets. Just one screamer doesn't win. Yeah, you might get a little plaque for small group of the day or something, but the winner, the guy that gets his name on the trophy, he's the guy that had the best over the 12 targets. And so that's 12 targets over 2 days at most national matches and bench rest anyway. And F class is the same thing, really. It is. They're shooting multiple targets over multiple days, and the guy that scores the highest is, the overall winner. So it's all about ag there too. It's over all of those targets. It's not just one perfect target. It's nice, but it doesn't win. So next time you start with some brass is winter time. Good time to start prepping for next year. All winter long is when I do my prep work. So that's where my brain is at today, is starting to think about what I need to do. And first thing was weight sort the brass. And the next thing I'll be doing is turning a few necks, different thicknesses. And I won't turn them all. I'll just turn a few tests. Maybe I'll turn 20 of them or 25 of them and get 3, 4, 5 different thicknesses, and I'll go out and test them. Once I see what is working best, then I'll know what to turn all the rest of them to. So it's always a long process for me to get going. It doesn't, I wish I could just turn them all and go fire for them, but for me, I got to do it my long process way. So it takes me a while to get going. That's why it's nice to start in the middle of the winter, so by the time spring comes around, I've already finished all the weight sorting, all the neck turning, all the fire forming, and everything will be ready to start getting ready for summer and start really trying to dial the load in with all the rest of the stuff I do. But that's my tip for today. Start with weight sorting everything.